Some people say, we can't even predict the weather next week. How can we predict the climate? So, how do we predict the weather? A single weather station would never be able to collect so much information. Instead, thousands of stations across the globe are linked and their data pool. Some of these stations, ground-based wind gauges, rain collectors, and temperature sensors, resemble those used by amateur weather watchers. Others lie far out at sea, strapped by buoys. And still, others travel on commercial airliners or shipping vessels, collecting weather data as passengers and goods are moved from point A to point B. Finally, weather satellites and balloons provide information from the upper regions of the atmosphere. Satellites photograph Earth weather from their orbit in space, while balloons monitor upper air data over a particular location. Some people think we can't really predict the weather, but it's really not fair, because things used to be much worse. There are limits on forecasting weather, and the level of difficulty is large. Our predictions are far better than what they used to have. The 3-day forecasts they deliver today are better than the 1-day forecast they delivered 20 years ago. The difference between weather and climate is a measure of time. Weather is what conditions of the atmosphere are over a short period of time, and climate is how atmosphere behaves over relatively long periods of time. So climate and weather are really different things, and the level of predictability is comparably different. In most places, weather can change from minute to minute, hour to hour, day to day, and season to season. Climate, however, is the average of weather over time and space. Therefore, since climate is a general trend of weathers, it is easier to predict what the climate will be like, rather than the weather of a very specific day. The goal of climate modeling can be thought of as an extension of forecasting to longer and longer time periods. The focus is not on individual weather events, which are unpredictable on long time scales, but on the statistics of these events and on the slow evolution of oceans and ice sheets. Climate change is a long-term shift in the climate of a specific location, region, or planet. The shift is measured by changes in features associated with average weather, such as temperature, wind patterns, and precipitation. When we talk about climate change, we talk about changes in long-term averages of daily weather. Also, we know for sure that the global climate is currently changing. The last decade of the 20th century and the beginning of the 21st have been the warmest period in the entire global instrumental temperature record, starting in the mid-19th century. Now you know something about weather and climate predictions and the differences between them. So don't blame the weather forecasters.